And then I think there are a lot of ways that that something like Palantir ends up being also a constraint on government action, where if a lot of the abuses, a lot of the most extreme sort of overreach happened in contexts where people thought there would be no accountability ever inside the government. So, if and that this was, probably like something like the Guantanamo stuff in Bush 43. Nobody knew what was going on. If nobody knows, it can go really crazy. And then, of course, at some point, people know, and the inmates take over the asylum,
right?
And it sort of went probably too much the other way. But there probably were a lot of deep state excesses that happened where if Palantir had been used, there would have been more of a record of what people were doing. The NSA has not worked with Palantir, and all these different suspicions. There's one version is just they had a not invented here bias, but I think another version was there were probably a lot of things at NSA where it was too entangled. The FISA courts were way out of control, and if you had this outside software system where you actually tracked how often the stuff was used, there'd be much more risk this would have gotten exposed, and would have there would have been a track record, much tighter track record of these things, and it actually would have limited it. So we somehow got blocked at NSA very early on, and I tend to think that the explanation Alex and I are sympathetic to was that the people at NSA believed that whatever power the software gave them, it also limited their power because there would be more accountability.
Right. It would basically sort of end up with a USAID situation on them in some sense.
At some point, you have a line item track record. You know exactly where the money's going. Like the USAID thing worked because I believe you had like a level 5. I think the technical government thing on USAID is you have a level 5 description, which is the line item description. And then there was a level 4 description, which is how you sort of group these things together. And I believe the level 4 was what was reported to the Trump political people. And then the level 5 and level 4 were wildly divergent. This was, by the way, I believe something like this is what Oliver North was charged with in the 1980s. It was sort of that he engaged in fraud because he had mischaracterized various payments. And so I think so many of these, I suspect if we want to be aggressive, so many of the people working at USAID could be charged with fraud, like Oliver North was charged with fraud